Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
It was named after Vince Lombardi. You play in Green Bay. As important as it is to any other team, it means more to us.
When he walked into the meeting, he looked us right in the eye. He said, "Gentlemen, we're going to relentlessly chase perfection."
My first thought was, on any play with my arm strength, I may not let anybody know this, but my first thought was home run. On every play. On every play.
He did what? Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Welcome back, the Packers Corner. A win, finally. We can put all our toasters to the side for a week, and it sounds like we had a blender over there going on, Schmity, just before we started. All the appliances are safe distance away and less risk than in previous weeks here. How are you feeling about the Packers getting a win here, finally?
Just made myself a nice blueberry bagel, put some cream cheese on it to soak up that excellent win that was much needed. We'd be 6 feet under right now if that team decided to belly up on Sunday. So I'm very pleased. My prediction was correct. We won the game. We get to move on to bigger and better things.
You love to see it. Orthodox toaster use all across the state of Wisconsin. We have all sorts of pastries and baguettes and the like being toasted. It's good news. Dad, we got it done up north this week. You and I were at the deer hunting shack for most of the weekend, got to come back home and see the Packers take care of the Los Angeles Rams and Brett Rippon and the like. Any preliminary thoughts on how you're feeling after we got one back in the win column?
The pinnacle of the seasons, the pageant of fall, the splendor, the leaves, the deer hopping through the forest, the bucks chasing the does, it makes the world go around. It was just a beautiful autumnal weekend, and then you cap it off with praise the Lord and hallelujah, and thank your lucky stars. MLF did what I said he couldn't do. He gave the ball to Aaron Jones 20 times from the backfield, 4 times by way of the pass. So he met the criteria for 20 touches for Aaron Jones and 25 touches between Jones and Watson. Since Watson had a few catches, it didn't take him much to get that added up to 25 for those two, but a lot of good things. It's 1 week. It kind of reminds me of the Bears win. Okay, congratulations, you beat the Bears. Okay, congratulations, you beat the Rams with a backup quarterback who was fairly inept. But I really don't want to hear too much with backup quarterbacks, because look what the Vikings did with a third stringer that didn't even know all the names of the players on the team. Now, that was one lucky sap-sucking experience over there, but
You think
backup
that was
quarterback.
lucky, or does that say anything about Josh Dobbs? Do we have something to worry about over there?
Well, I think Kirk Cousins is gone. I mean, put a fork in him. He's Dobbs is the new Tarkenton. Yeah, they just need to get their Super Bowl tickets ready, because it's all over there, and get your accommodations squared away and get some dibs on tickets, because here we go. The train is on the track.
The Pastronaut over there, being a rocket scientist and the like, that's what they're calling him.
Well, I know he's very, very aerodynamic when he takes his helmet off, so I see why we got the rocket science thing going there. We got a very streamlined profile. It's a beautiful thing, and he played a heck of a game.
The Packers brought their A game on the defensive side of the ball. We were a little bit upset about the Rasul Douglas trade 1 week ago. Seeing Carrington Valentine put on the performance he did, paired with the obviously unreal preseason he had, does that make you change your tune about how we felt about Rasul last week, Schmitty?
It sucks to lose a Rasul Douglas, who I thought again was the best player on our defense throughout the first 8 weeks. So it was unfortunate that we lost him. But when you see a performance like Valentine, you got to get juiced. All these young players that Gar alluded to early in the season, we got excited about these young guys and the prospect of where they might go in their career. To see him have this performance, it really gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling, a peace of mind, knowing that we actually do might have some of these ascending players. When just last week, I didn't think that there was anything ascending about our defense or offense for that matter. So you see a performance like that, how can you not be excited that he gets his first chance in the NFL and he absolutely shows out? Granted, against a Rippin led offense, the Packers still. I don't want to discredit them for their performance because they still held an NFL offense to 3 points. They did exactly what a defense should be able to accomplish when you have a quarterback of that talent when you're playing against them. So they still had to go up against Cooper Cup. They still had to go up against Puka Nakua. There were still good parts of that offense. The defense held up. You're pretty happy going into this week against the Steelers.
What a wild world we live in where we're saying Puka Nakua's name in the same breath as Cooper Cup, but that's where we are. He's had a fantastic start to his NFL career, but neither of those guys did anything against Carrington Valentine. Dad, do you have any thoughts on the Rasul Douglas trade in light of the performance we saw from our boy Carrington?
What's this, Akuma Matata and Valentine? Just relax. We're going to be fine. And we got the Timon, the meerkat, and Pumbaa, and whatever else going on there. But Valentine was unfazed by the whole thing. So very good. It's kind of like Schmity said. Thank you for the recollection. Think of the contributions that we got from rookies and second-year players to make this game the beautiful thing that it was. It's for 1 week, but it shows some potential. You're talking about Carl Brooks, Colby Wooden. Carl Brooks made the fourth down stop, shed his blocker, looked like the second coming of Luke Donald out there, or Reggie White, or whatever you want to say, stood the guy up in the hole. Colby Wooden was making plays in the backfield. Lucas Van Ness, Carrington Valentine. Isaiah McDuffie, I know, has been around for a while, but had a very nice game stepping in for the starter. Jair showed out, and then we got the safety, Johnson, making an interception on the turnaround on the offensive side of the ball. You got Tay Wicks, who made some plays as a first-year player, the usual. And we had Watson jump up and high point a ball. Thank you. I called him out. And then who else? What did I say? Luke Musgrave. I haven't seen anything. Thank you, Luke. I saw some potential out there and I loved it. So this is what we're looking for, the ascension of these rookie players, showing that they've got something, and certainly seemed like we saw that there is at least some potential out there this week.
Well, Schmity alluded to ascending, and that was going to be a great lead into that catch we saw from Christian Watson. He went up and he made a contested catch. I think we all had to have been jumping out of our seats. The play was a great play, but within the context of his performance and his injuries and the like so far to this point this year, I think that could really be a turning point in the way that the drop that he had against the Vikings last year was really a kind of a negative turning point to start out his career. He got on Aaron Rodgers' dark side for a while there. But I think this could be a signal for him to take the next step. Still, we spread it around quite a bit. It wasn't like Watson went out there and garnered 10 targets and 8 catches or anything like that. But does that one individual play, can that make a really big difference in what we see from him going forward, Schmitty?
I mean, maybe it gives him the extra boost of confidence that you need. I feel like when you play wide receiver or cornerback, a lot of it is just about confidence in yourself to be able to go out and perform against the guy that's in front of you. I am not much in Watson's camp. He did make that contested catch, Griffey, and what happened? He couldn't even make it off the field. He goes down injured. The guy's maybe he's made of glass. I don't want to get too excited about a second round draft pick who really hasn't shown much besides a flash here and there. So I'm going to need more consistent play out of him. But that's really, I'm going to need to see more consistent play out of the offense. And so the recipe It exists. There's a good piece of the recipe there for the offense as a whole, um, and you saw that with Jordan Love, 20 for 26, 2 and a quarter, a touchdown. There's something there. There's something to be desired. You gave the ball to Aaron Jones the correct amount of times. I don't know if Christian Watson necessarily needs to be a part of that recipe. I'm sold that he will be for any amount of time past the season.
Who's going to step up then?
Your Romeo Dobbs, your Dante, your Wicks, your Reeds. I mean, you have a lot of different wide receivers with some different skill sets. Christian Watson, he's less proven that I think than those three that I just mentioned. At least this season, I'm just not a huge fan of his body of work this year. He had some flashes last season, of course, but I'm much more interested in the ascension of the other wide receivers that I mentioned, and Musgrave, obviously, who got in the end zone. It's all a work in progress, but I'm more excited about those four pass catchers than I am Watson.
Do you have a similar feeling, Dad, on Christian Watson? Or, my feeling is that he has the most potential out of maybe, it's a short list of wide receivers that would have more potential than him in the NFL due to his size, speed, athleticism. That said, is he going to achieve it? Time will tell. I see the reason why you have skepticism as well, Schmity. But, Dad, what do you think about that catch? And here it is on the screen and his potential moving forward.
Yeah, first of all, I recognize Schmity for pointing out that Jordan Love had a beautiful day. Look at some of these dimes he's throwing in there, out routes on third down over there to Dobbs and hitting Wicks in stride and the balls to Musgrave. And they say when you correct for drops and throwaways, he completed 88% of his passes. So we're seeing some upside here. He missed the one to Watson, and I think this play is emblematic of why I think Watson does have upside. That he's 5 yards past his guy, wide in the open, and so the one throw for sure that Jordan would like to have back. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go on record right now. Jordan Love is going to start completing some of those passes, and when he does, watch out for this offense because there's maybe Schmity would agree at least to the extent that Watson has the potential to be MSV plus a little bit. I think that the ceiling's probably higher than that, but 6'4" guy who can run like a deer, 4.3 speed and get behind the defense, just his presence out there creates opportunities for the other guys. And Schmity rightly points out he's going to have to stay healthy. He kind of reminds me, you guys are a little young, but Robert Smith for the Vikings. His first 3 years, he injured his knee, and it looked like he had a glass body, and then he came out and had a heck of a career after that. Davante Adams was hurt a lot his first 2 years. I'm not saying Watson has Davante Adams, but Davante Adams, we weren't very high on Griff after 2 years, if you remember. He had a lot of drops and injury problems. And so I'm not ready to give up on Christian Watson, but boy, oh boy, we had this discussion at the deer camp, Griff, with some of the relatives there who said they weren't seeing anything out of Jordan Love. I don't know how you can watch this kid and say you can't see anything. The arm talent is there, the poise is there. Does he need to get better on the deep balls? Yes, I have no doubt in my mind he will. And so I'm seeing what I need to see from Jordan Love right now. We'll see where it is next week, but he's showing me a lot of upside.
One incompletion in the second half, I believe, and it was a throwaway, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, well, I guess that speaks to another common theme for the Packers this year, which has been the disparity that still remains between the first and second halves of play. But that said, Love was lights out, and you can't take anything away from him there. I don't know. I mean, even Schmity, our resident Aaron Rodgers apologist and Jordan Love skeptic, was in tears out of the potential he saw from Jordan Love just a few weeks ago. Now, just like Christian Watson, does Love reach and maintain what the highest ceiling of his potential is? I mean, who knows? But to say you don't see anything, I really can't understand or wrap my mind around that. It's about consistency, and that's the name of the game in the NFL. We'll see if Jordan Love can bring that to the table moving forward. Schmity, we were all pretty down on Matt LaFleur a week ago. I think it was a little bit of frustration. You know, the season ebbs and flows, and we were in a trough, of course. But we let him have it. Whether it was my grandmother saying he might be suited better for a high school tennis coaching job, my dad saying maybe the girls' tennis coach. We were criticizing his heritage and being French and so forth off the air. So I think we maybe owe him apology. Is it time to apologize to LaFleur and give him his due?
I'll say this, Griffey. For Matt LaFleur, this was the single most important win of his career. I really felt that if he would have lost to a Brett Rippon Rams-led team, that whole locker room would have turned on him. We didn't see that. The defense did exactly what it needed to do, and they complemented the offense very well. The defense giving the ball back to Jordan Love made Jordan pretty comfortable throughout the game, I'd say, with Matt LaFleur's scheme. It really, I think, turned it on a dime, a 180, where this team, where I thought they were last week to where I think now. I actually believe that there's a locker room that's fighting for him, that wants to see Matt LaFleur succeed. I didn't want to think that last week, and I tore him. I wanted Matt LaFleur gone, and I'm sure there's many Packers fans that felt the same way. But if you get a response from a group of men that and that believe in you as a leader, and they put out a performance like that, you have to feel that Matt LaFleur is doing something within that organization, within that group of men, and he's leading them in a correct direction. Um, do we see that continue? Do they get blown out by the Steelers? Maybe, and then we're back to square one. But for right now, I think you have a team that recognizes that this guy is going to put it all on the line for you, and he did I think a hell of a job scheming up an offensive program, and maybe he watched Packers Corner and listened to Gar and I and gave Aaron Jones 33 the ball 20 times, because that is a very integral part of what we do on offense.
Well, you know, Jones wasn't even that effective. By his standards, certainly. He ran the ball with relatively low yards per carry, not a ton of explosive plays. He did find the end zone, but it was still effective nonetheless. But I think we do have to tip our hats to Joe Barry and the defense as well. The Packers easily, I mean, they almost tried at one point to kind of give this up or at least make it a game. You come out in the second half, and Dontavian Wicks has one of the worst fumbles I've ever seen in my life. And then we followed up with an Aaron Jones fumble on the next possession. Given the way the team's played to this point in the season, that was a clear signal that we could have laid down at that point in time, and we didn't because of that defense. They came through when we needed them there, which was awesome to see. I think LaFleur might have had the play call of his career in Green Bay to this point, play we've seen run elsewhere, but we've been asking him to set something up easy for Jordan Love, and he did it. It was in the second half, wasn't to gather any rhythm, but that touchdown pass that Love had Luke Musgrave was a thing of beauty. Fun to see that one drawn up and then executed the way it was there. Dad, what are your thoughts on Matt LaFleur, Joe Barry, and the coaching staff in the tweak that we just saw?
Okay, the positive, I give LaFleur a lot of credit for holding his team together. Clearly had him motivated, clearly had him fired up to perform better. The offensive line play was notably improved. The defensive line play was dominant in the pass rush for Sean Gary, Preston Smith, Lucas Van Ness, Enagbare. The whole tribe was playing beautiful on the defensive line. We even had a safety blitz. Schmity, we're getting some of the things we've been asking for instead of Kirk Cousins sitting back there with four guys rushing all day and playing vanilla. So maybe it's a little easier against a backup quarterback, but you got to go down swinging instead of going down with a whimper in these shell defenses. And so I thought that was good. Now, the reason that the trick play works is because Aaron Jones touched the ball 20 times, for the love of God. And so in this regard, Matt LaFleur, I'm ticked off that you threw away 2 to 3 games by not using the guy at the end of the game when we could have had 2 or 3 more wins. So I'm okay with LaFleur, but I'm not okay in a way. So hopefully this is a learning lesson. And you know, I'll calm down, take a deep breath. Maybe there's a good reason that we don't know about as to why Aaron Jones wasn't being used. I can't for the life of me figure it out. To me, if you're
Well, he
on the
wasn't
field,
healthy. I think it's pretty clear. I mean, they've said that, right?
I know, but if you're on the field and you're available, we need you at winning time. If that's the point, the situation, then save him for winning time. We've gone over some of these situations. Anyway, shouldn't be so exercised. We won the game. LaFleur held the team together. Barry actually used some innovation and blitzed a safety. So all these things are good. And I would just point out, guys, we should have had 35 to 40 points in that game. We had 2 fourth down calls, and I'd like to shake the league by the neck for calling guys off sides for being a quarter of an inch over the football. It's
I don't think
just
they were. They weren't over the football. They were just lined up too close to the center, and I thought it was just wrong.
there's nobody in the stadium who says boo on either side of the colors there for the teams that think there's any problem. And when you're making calls that nobody would be upset about, what are you doing, NFL? So we had those two. We had the 2 fumbles in the second half. If you score a couple touchdowns in those drives, or if you score a touchdown and 2 field goals, you're looking at a 35 type point game that's not as close as it was. So iron those things out, and the offense was really cooking. And if that's the case, then our boy Jordan Love has a 300-yard passing game, and we're well over 400 yards of offense. So we're just that close now. Hopefully we can get that running game going against Pittsburgh. If we play like that against Pittsburgh and keep the mistakes to a minimum, we should have a chance. We should have a good chance to go in there. We'll see what this team is ready to do on the road against a decent football team in Pittsburgh.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. It's going to take ironing out those mistakes. Pittsburgh's a team that I don't think are likely to beat themselves. Their defense will keep them in it, as they always seem to do. Same time, they haven't had a particularly explosive offense either. So hopefully it's another opportunity for the defense to build on the success we saw this week. Schmity, can we get it done against Pittsburgh on the road?
I will say the Packers going to this game are teetering around the 3.5 point underdogs, and I want to believe that the Packers can pull this off. They have this momentum. I just don't buy that we've cleared all these mistakes from the offense and defensive side of the ball. I still saw some of the same stuff against the Rams that we've seen all year that hasn't been cleaned up. Now, I don't know what team we're going to get week to week, and so it's hard when I know that these are winnable games every week in front of us. I just don't know if they can put it together and avoid these common sense mistakes that are so vital to your success when we're talking about one score games going into the fourth quarters, which I think we're going to have a lot. The Packers, my friend, they're going to win this game. They're going to win by 4 points. This is the Beta Boys podcast, Griffey. We are a bunch of alpha males here. I want to talk to the gentleman in the chat as the reason why I'm not wearing a shirt. It's because, blessed Griffey, we're men. We're men out here, okay? Take it in. Breathe in the football goodness, okay? Ride with your team. And me shirtless, this is me riding with my team. This is me up at 6 a.m. This is me getting the grill hot, putting the brisket on the grill, nurturing it, tendering it for hours upon end, getting so excited like it's Christmas morning for a football game. Watch the team that I love win, and damn it, they're going to do it again. 7-pound brisket on the grill. I'm as giddy as all get up, Griffey. They're going to do it. Win by 4, 17-13. Book it. Jordan Love goes for over 300.
Wow. Let's go, Schmitty. Dad, are you ready to run through a brick wall here?
Well, I'm just unbuttoning my shirt here to join Schmitty. No, not this week. Can't quite do it. But we should get the lithium out for Schmitty to help this manic depressive state of mind that he's been in. But I love it. I love the mania. I love it. Stay manic, buddy, and hopefully the Packers win. win this game. We're going to need a big play on special teams. We're going to need to win the turnover battle. The kicker's going to have to make his kicks. LaFleur's going to have to call a good game. Kenny Pickett is beatable over there with some turnovers on defense. I just don't know if we can do all those things on the road. And I think it would be a great sign of growth if this team takes this game right down to the wire, and then Jordan Love's going to have to do something. The kicker's going to have to make a kick. I don't think we can get it quite all that done on the road. So my heart says Packers, but my brain says that somehow the Steelers eke it out. That darn Mike Tomlin seems to always get it done, and I just hope and pray I'm wrong.
It's going to take Jordan Love not missing on the deep ball. It's going to take converting fourth downs and not getting called for offsides. And it's going to take another performance like we saw from the defense, Carrington Valentine, Carl Brooks, Joe Barry, and the like. And we're going to see it. They're going to get it done. Schmity and I are going to be celebrating, eating brisket, whatever it takes, my friend. I am all there for it. I'm also going to be cheering pretty hard against a couple Division III football teams. We're looking for Wheaton, Union, and St. John's to all bite the dust so that the River Falls Falcons can make the Division III college football playoffs for the first time in getting close to 30 years here as well. So those are my hopes for the football weekend here coming up. And also, I want to turn towards fantasy football news here. Arthur Smith is going to start giving Bijan Robinson the football and help all 5 of my fantasy teams that drafted Bijan Robinson. So I don't know where this optimism and positivity is coming from, but I think it's all about to turn my way. It's all looking up. Maybe it was Schmitty's speech that's going to usher in a new era here. Any closing thoughts for the viewers here, Schmitty, as we look towards the week ahead?
Guys, it's fun to do this yo-yo back and forth ping pong. Get excited, get depressed, get the toaster, make a bagel. I love this so much. It brings me tears of joy, not tears of sadness, like Derek brought me a couple weeks ago. Enjoy what we have in front of us. We still have a young team. It's easy to get upset and see all these mistakes that are being made, but you just hope that there's 25-30% of these guys that are ascending superstars. If we hit on a couple of these guys, there is a really good foundation that we might have. I saw a really good offensive line, and that's a cornerstone that you need to have to be a good team in the league. Look at the Eagles and what they've done in several years in a row on the backs of a fantastic offensive line. So there's a lot of things to get excited about, Griffey. Last shout out. Lodi Blue Devils are in level 4 of the Wisconsin playoffs. Good luck to them and Coach Poles. Love you all.
Love to see it, Schmitty. Grab a toaster, make a bagel. That'd be a heck of a T-shirt. I like that there, Schmitty. Better than the alternative, that is for sure. Dad, any closing thoughts for the viewers here?
I just love Schmitty. What did he say? Guten Kunst last week doesn't have any business drafting another player in the history of the Green Bay Packers, and now it looks like we got a whole slew full of them on the roster this year that might be gems. So I love it. Schmitty admits we're on a yo-yo. We're up and down with this young team, but we got to enjoy the ride. And this is where the foundation is built, and it looks like some blocks might be in place this week, hopefully. We continue to see that next week, and the coaching turns out good. And I just think that what I would like to do at this time is regale you, gentlemen, with a little rendition of the Beta Boys to bring back memories from the dim past when we were playoff perennial contenders. So with your permission, I'll just do that now.
Please.
In the hills of Tennessee lived a beta boy to be, and his father shoveled horseshit all the days. When the lad was very young, they found a diamond in the dung, and they sent him off to college just to play. Hail, hail, hail to Mr. Beta. Lift your thunder mugs on high And we'll drink another glass to the biggest horse's ass in the brotherhood of Beta Theta Chi. Yours till the Beta Boys ride the kitchen range. We're out till next week, boys.
Love it. Take care, guys.